Okay, so the name, the Minoans, we've been using it, but it's not the name that they called themselves. We don't know what they called themselves. What do you mean? What I mean is like, okay, if you're from the United States of America, you say that you're American. If you're from France, you say you're French, right? We don't know what they called themselves. We are using what the Greeks, who came later, called them. Does that make sense? When the Greeks came, this civilization had already fallen, gone. Nobody spoke the language, didn't know anything about this stuff. So they walked around and they gave this lost civilization the term or the name Minoan. Well, how? How did they come to this? Great question. It comes through with the palace. As I said, the palace is massive, and it houses in it administration, it houses residents, and it houses like a storage facility. Looking back at this map, I know, don't read this, I'm going to read it again. Looking back at this map right here, that's the floor plan? I mean, this is insane. You could get lost in this. It's like a maze. All right, I say the phrase, it's like a maze, because the Greeks believed knossos or gnosos to be the origin of their Greek myth about the Minotaur. They saw these labyrinths, Labrys. Labyrinths are double-sided axes. You see it? A labyrinth. And they saw these carved onto many of the walls in the palace ruin. So do you see the connection in terms of language? A labyrinth is a double-sided axe. They found carvings of labyrinths all around the palace at Knossos. This connects to a story. The Greeks had a myth about the Minotaur. Now, if you're not familiar with it, that's totally fine. The story of the Minotaur is that there was a king. His name was King Minos. And he had made a deal with the god of the sea, Poseidon. And the deal was, if he sacrifices his best bull to Poseidon once every year, then he will be prosperous. One year, there was a very, very beautiful bull. So handsome. Oh. And King Minos thought, I don't want to give up this bull to Poseidon. I don't want to sacrifice this one. So instead, I'll give him my second best bull. Well, Poseidon found out. And if you don't know, the Greek gods, they get mad, they get jealous, they get petty. And when Poseidon found out that King Minos had not sacrificed the best bull as he should have, as was their bet, he decided to punish King Minos. But not in a way that you're thinking. King Minos' punishment was Poseidon made the queen, Minos' wife, fall in love with that beautiful, handsome bull that should have been sacrificed. Okay, this is when it gets gross. The queen falls in love with the bull and she wants to have sex with it. I know. So she has her inventor at the palace invent a contraption which helps her have sex with this bull. I'm not going to go into the details, okay? She gets pregnant and she gives birth to this thing here. It has the body of a human and the head of a bull. And when King Minos finds out that his wife gave birth to a half-head or a bull-headed human, he understands that this is his punishment and that he needs to keep this thing alive. Now the thing, which is now referred to as a minotaur, King Minos, minotaur, okay. It's a composite creature. It has the abilities and the strength of a man, but the intellect and the passion and the lust of a bull. It's not good. So it is an unintelligent, violent creature with the body of a man. So King Minos decides to lock up the Minotaur. Keep it alive, but lock it away. He locks it away underneath his palace in a system of hallways that the Greeks call a labyrinth. A labyrinth. It's kind of like a maze. A labyrinth because the Minotaur could then go crazy in the labyrinth and never find its way out. It's insane, right? I know. When they came to the island and they saw this maze-like structure of a ruined palace, plus the idea of King Minos making a deal with the god of the sea, so an ocean and an island, they were like, this has to be the origin of our myth. There's bull stuff all over this island. We got a labyrinth, labrys, double-sided axes carved all over the walls. This has to be the origin. So, because this fits so nicely into their myth of the Minotaur and King Minos, the Greeks gave the civilization the name Minoan. I know, right? I know. Now, a labyrinth is something that we still do talk about, and we will see later on, much later in the semester. But a labyrinth is used today as these kinds of guided, or not guided, but these singular pathways that guide you around and through. And the idea is that as you walk through a labyrinth, you are almost becoming into a meditative state. You are supposed to kind of remove yourself from the physical awareness and just follow this singular path and follow its many winds and curves around and around. We'll talk more about labyrinths, like I said, later on in the semester, but there are a few labyrinths around the Bay Area. I just have an image here of the one that's at Eagle Point. Sometimes vandals will come in and just, mess it up because we're just being little punks. But let me know if there are any other really good labyrinths around the Bay Area, and I can put it up into the PowerPoint.